Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Avarice podcast. I'm Devin, and today we're going to be watching the R. Kelly tapes. I'm just kidding with you. Oh, fuck. I'm going to be watching Season 1, Episode 13, the Season 1 finale of The Wire. I had originally intended to watch Jason Goes to Hell today, but it's not available on any of the streaming platforms anymore. Way back when I started doing the Friday the 13th. Sorry for the noise, I'm making a cup of coffee, as is customary at the beginning of the podcast. I almost always do that. When I started doing commentaries on the Friday the 13th, I think parts 3 through 8 were available on Amazon Prime. I said that with a weird inflection. On Amazon Prime streaming. And Jason X and Jason Goes to Hell were available on Netflix. And I had the first two and the reboot, so I was like, fuck, there's the whole franchise laid out for me. So I started trudging along, and by the time I caught up to Jason Goes to Hell, which is part 9, it's no longer available. So I'm going to have to figure something out for that, as well as for Jason X, because that looks like it's gone from Netflix as well. And Freddy vs. Jason. So I had to change on the fly, come up with a new plan. So instead of watching that, shift gears, go into The Wire. I'm not really mentally prepared for it because I was thinking about what I wanted to say about the other movie, but we're going to give it a fucking try nonetheless. If you've never listened to before, I watch movies or TV shows most of the time. Sometimes the podcast is just me talking with no external stimuli, like a fleshlight or a mouth. But most of the time I watch a movie or a TV show, and I crack wise over it. I take the piss out of it. I offer insight about it. We'll pose questions. Sometimes I just talk it out. Talk it out. Now talk it out. And I start every podcast by making a cup of coffee. And when it's done, I sit down at the coffee table and I smoke a little bit of weed. When I'm done doing that, I give you a countdown in case you're going to watch the movie or TV show along with me. And I cue you up. We push play together. Always together. Always together. Teamwork first. No, safety first, then teamwork. Shit. And we will watch the show. I'm, poor form. I'm not quite ready to get sexy. I'm almost there. I forgot to light my candle. I gotta turn the lights out. I don't even have a shirt on. Hope you're ready for this. It has been blazing in Portland the last couple days. And I'm not talking about the Trailblazers basketball team. And I'm not talking about blazing weed. It has been hot as a Mexican whorehouse on nickel night with $5 rebate the last couple days. Like 97. And last night, it didn't even get down below fucking 70, I don't think. I went out to start delivering newspapers, and it was still 75 degrees. I wore a tank top and shorts all night. I never fucking do that. My air conditioner has been running all day, and it's just now catching up to the temperature that I would like it to be. First world problems. Okay, where's my goddamn controller? Show some goddamn hustle, goddammit. Gonna get our asses kicked on Friday. Oh, brother. Some of you are probably confused. You're like, thought this was about The Wire. He's been talking about Friday the 13th this whole time. What's this dude's trip? I get sidetracked sometimes. Don't worry about it. We are going to be watching the Season 1 finale of The Wire. Excuse me. Avon got arrested at the end of the last episode. Kima woke up. Just kind of wrapping up everything, heading into the break between seasons. And honestly, I heard Donnell Rawlings on Joe Rogan's podcast say that something happened in the real life political world that made them go a different direction with season 2, and that's why it seems to slap you in the face like it's a totally different storyline. But and I felt that way when I first watched it, but in retrospect, I think it fits pretty nicely. I think it gives you a good sense of that part of the city that you may not have gotten if we had just stayed with the politics and the drugs and the towers. I don't know, man. It's not like I'm a fucking professional. I don't know. It's not like I went to college or anything. Maybe your girlfriend used to be a guy or your keys lost. Alrighty then. Okay, if you're going to watch along with me, which is probably highly unlikely, get prepared, because I'm about to press play in 3, 2, 1, play. DJ, spin that shit. I'ma murder this man. So our opening scene, we're going right to Kima awake. That's got to be a fucked up feeling. I can't relate. Never had an extended hospital stay of any kind. Never been just unconscious and woke up and had to be informed what day it is, what time it is, what happened. Not familiar with that at all. I imagine it feels like the time is stolen from you. I've always wondered that.
20 minutes.
How the brain copes. Because even when you go to sleep at night, sometimes your alarm goes off and you're like, what the fuck? It feels like I just laid down. Because you have no perception of the time while you're asleep. And it's almost confusing. So imagine if it was days or weeks. Oh. This is the scene. They're showing her photo arrays, trying to get her to finger, not literally finger, trying to get her to point out if she recognizes anybody involved in the shooting. Okay. She did sign off on Little Man. Now they're going to try to give her the fat finger and suggest that it's Weebay. But she didn't see him well enough to make a positive ID. And even though they have evidence implying or indicating that it's Weebay, she's not willing to sacrifice her own honor because she in her heart does not know for sure it was him. She could not see him for sure. So she's not going to be influenced or bullied into making that decision. She's going to go the noble route. She's one of the most noble and righteous characters in the entire show. She falters some throughout the course, but she really maintains her code. Even, I guess Omar does some dirt, but he's got a code and he does not stray from it. And Kima's got a code. But I always think about the unconscious thing when I see somebody get knocked out in a fight. Like, does it feel like something got stolen from you when that happens? You got to picture these guys are doing 1, 2, sometimes 3-month-long training camps. They're investing all this time and effort into this one culminating event. This one event, they have to put all their chips on the table. And so, imagine what it would be like if you go through months of effort and sacrifice away from your family, your body's aching, strict diet, sleep, the whole 9 yards. and then all of a sudden you wake up and you get told that you lost. What must that feel like? Like, wait, what happened? Oh, you got knocked out. Wait, what? Are you sure? Yeah, bro, you got knocked out. We can show you on film. Wait a minute. I don't remember any of this shit. What are you talking about? No, bro, you got knocked out. What are you... And then to have all that effort invested and to feel like you weren't even involved in the outcome, which you obviously were. Like, if you had zigged when you should have zagged, whatever the case may be that led to them getting knocked out, they were involved in the outcome. It's not like it was completely out of their control, but that must be what it feels like when they finally come to. I've always thought that, like, God damn, what must it feel like to spend all that energy and then not even remember what happened? Like, you have to be told or you have to watch. So you're like waking up one day and somebody tells you it's been 4 years and you're like, wait a minute. No. I was just... You're what? This theme song is gonna get me a fucking copyright complaint. I'm gonna mute it. Sorry. Those have been popping off lately. I don't know if it's because more people have been watching my shit, if I'm starting to grow in subscribers a little bit, but I had Paramount hit me with 5 manual copyright complaints today for Friday the 13th movies. I was like, Jesus Christ, man. And I don't even think they were so close together. I don't even think they listened to them to see if it was copyright infringement. I think they just assumed it was. Hardly any of the content of these podcasts is actually the movie or show I'm watching. I'm not relying on that to carry the day. I'm just using it to bounce ideas off of or to give me incoming stuff to talk about. It's not like I'm trying to capitalize on using their... Well, I am in an indirect way, but the content is me talking. That's what this is. It's not... I'm not selling it as watch this instead of The Wire. That's not what I'm doing at all. And half the time it's fucking songs that I don't even realize. I made a video where I was filming in a Goodwill and I got hit with a copyright because there was a song playing in the Goodwill. Like, that I didn't even realize. I didn't even notice when I was in there. You can just faintly hear it in the background. Herc's a douchebag. He thinks because he got got a certain score on a test that he's going to be a good leader. And he's just bossing everybody around now. Damn, this shit is already scratched to hell. My coffee table. This is why we can't have nice things, children. So, the details petering out. Any leads that they had are either those people are in jail, or now the wiretaps and bugs are basically useless because they don't use any of that stuff anymore. They're not going to be able to go upstairs and get approval for a new wiretap or anything like that. So they've kind of exhausted what they can do with the resources they've been given. There's almost nothing left to pursue. At least there's nothing left to pursue within the scope or the budgetary allotment that they're going to be given. They have to justify the use of this manpower continuing forward. And if it's not leading towards a building case, they can't really justify it. Oh, here it comes though. So D'Angelo, we've been talking about this the whole season. He's not really cut out for this. He's never really been the same as these guys. He's not built for it like Avon is. And he feels like he got hung out to dry on this one. Getting sent for that re-up, getting pulled over immediately. They're telling him he's gotta do the time and take the weight for everybody. And he feels like he's being set up to take the fall, so he's decided to switch attorneys. And now they get to talk to their criminal advisor, otherwise known as an attorney, and he's going to advise them on how to limit their exposure, basically. How to tie up loose ends, how to keep themselves out of the frying pan. Just limit the damage. Avon's outfit is on point for that era. People would think he looks stupid nowadays, but that was the gangster attire of the day. This is right around the time that everybody started wearing throwback jerseys and hats. I will confess, I was guilty. I just parted with most of my jerseys not that long ago when I started doing my eBay shit. And I was looking for stuff to sell to try to build up. I was like, okay, which ones of these jerseys can I live without? Do I really need these? And I started unloading them. But I used to have the jersey and the hat to go with it. Several sets like that. Oh, 5'9" white boy in suburbia. It's kind of hilarious because a lot of my friends that a lot of my good friends I made and friends that have lasted through life, I actually met at work and not school. And I've had a couple different ones tell me that if they hadn't met me at work and seen me like in the uniform where it kind of strips away your expression of yourself, if they had just seen me, like if we went to school together and they had just seen me dressed in my jerseys and my hats and shit, they probably wouldn't have wanted to talk to me. But because they met me wearing a uniform at work and they didn't get to see that part and it was just my personality carrying the day, then once they saw me dressed like that, they just accepted it. It was kind of funny to hear. Those prejudices. I didn't ever look. I was like, yeah, man, I realized that I opened myself up to ridicule a little bit by dressing that way. It's okay. It's how I like to dress.
What the fuck did you do to her? I don't know. You two in the same car. You make a long-ass drive to Jersey. Shit.
Isn't it always a long-ass drive to Jersey? Are you ever looking forward to the destination when you're driving to Jersey? I guess you're coming from B-more. That's not that much better. I used to call those shants back in the day. Kids would wear those when I was in high school. Like nowadays, it's in fashion to have your pants basically be high waters, have them end above your ankle. He's wearing shorts that are almost as long as pants are nowadays. But I called them shants because they were shorts so long they were pants. Look at that shit. Those things are several inches below his knee. If he tries to run, they're going to pull right down.
You know what?
That's one of the major things I notice about watching old basketball games. You watch basketball games from like the year 2000. Their fucking shorts are huge. It's it's kind of unbelievable that they even wanted to play in shorts that huge. It was funny. So, of course, the Orlando location is dead. They know the cops know about that. They can't have that as their main headquarters. So now they're at a funeral parlor. They're at a future parlor. They're at a funeral parlor upstairs.
She's right, bro. You can't take a second chance here. You know what I'm saying? Until you fix, just go handle that money.
So they have to make plans in case Avon goes away. And they have to keep him out of the mix now because he's got all this attention on him. So the sister is going to handle the accounting, and Stringer's going to take care of the product. Product, motherfuckers. Doesn't matter what corner you stand on. Product. That's also D'Angelo's mom. She's super torn about this, you have to imagine. Goddamn, he looks like Kevin Durant. I can't help but think that every time I see him. Poor Kevin Durant. Man, that was a trip. Not what I expected to see. Really changes how people expected things to go this offseason, too. The first time I watched this really felt like one of those turning moments, like a breath of fresh air, like, oh my god, D'Angelo is going to flip, and that's how they're going to get everybody in the mix. That's how they're going to be able to get to sweep up Stringer, Avon, the whole crew, and put them in the pen, because D'Angelo knows everything. But similar to if you're a Game of Thrones fan, or at least if you were, The Wire is more realistic than that. It doesn't get those Fantasyland quick wrap-up dream endings. It's more complex. It's not as simple as D'Angelo flipped and everything was happily ever after. Oh shit, they're showing him the pictures of Wallace, though. That's got to be a hard one to swallow.
Yeah, that's what we think. No loose ends. Understand the guard.
Why is my fucking chin inch so bad? Answer me. God damn it. Ugh.
Then was the kid. Wallace.
Man, they have the conversation on tape. I think this is the first time D'Angelo's getting to hear it and really understand that they are listening to their conversations. Damn, Skippy, we got that shit on tape.
His name is Brandon Wright.
Oh, brother.
Brendan broke fingers, gouged eyes, all kinds of.
It's the strangest gay suicide I've ever seen.
You must have. So you're standing there.
I don't call string, the word get back uptown, what's gonna happen then?
So you told Wallace to wait. You told
Play in the dirt, you get dirty.
he gathered the troops.
I don't know who Jimmy says that to, but I know he says that in this show.
They got Wallace to point the finger, right? And they went in like cops with handcuffs so they could take their time on Brand.
They dropped the body release.
See, if Khaleesi had just been on this show, it would have been perfectly acceptable for her to have a coffee cup on the table. Which wasn't a Starbucks cup, by the way. Just looked like one. It's just a generic coffee cup. All coffee cups look like that, regardless of the logo on the side.
Him being 16 and all. Then they go start back over again as a freshman.
Wow, a 16-year-old freshman.
My uncle and string, they call me down to the club.
Well, I turned 16 my sophomore year, but my birthday's at the beginning of the year.
Wallace, snitch.
Got my license before everybody. I was also 18 before everybody. So when teachers ask me why I smell like smoke, I'd be like, 'cause I smoke, bitch, and I don't have any cigarettes on me at the moment, and your jurisdiction doesn't include my vehicle, so fuck off.
Oh, come on, D. Wild guess.
Man, I don't know. Could have been anybody. You know, shooters come cheap.
I don't think so.
How do shooters come cheap? You're taking such a risk with your own life when you kill somebody. You could get put away in jail forever. So
Right? I swear.
how could a shooter be cheap? I can't even imagine that concept. Like, realistically, if you wanted to pay me to kill somebody, it would have to be so much money to make the risk worth it. Like, I guess that's what makes me different from people who commit murders for hire.
How do you know?
Like, or I would have to be like a high-end one because I'm not doing that shit for less than like
Anything to you about the sheep?
$100,000. I don't.
So what we got?
We need some, like, I need to feel like the juice was worth the squeeze on this one.
Client must realize
I'm gonna feel really stupid if I end up in jail for a $2,000 hit. There's an Everlast song where he says, "I'm going big, I might split your wig because I ain't getting popped for no nickel or dime shit." It's exactly how I feel. If we're gonna do this shit, we're gonna do it. Or we're not gonna do it at all.
You got people to put you with it unless she's killed.
I didn't know he was going to. I swear, they played me.
So, I think we get some clarification on this later from Weebay. But D'Angelo goes back on the story that he told the youngins in the pit about that murder he committed where he was tapping on the glass. Now he's putting it on Weebay. But later Weebay cops to it. So I guess he was just boasting in front of those Bodie and Poot and Wallace to try to create some kind of fake bravado. Create a little esteem for himself or something. But we do find out that D'Angelo was there, and he was essentially the decoy, and he didn't even realize it, or at least he claims he didn't realize it. They sent him to the door to deliver cocaine to her, and then, unbeknownst to him, Weebay went around the back and shot her right afterwards. And this story lines up with what Jimmy and Bunk found at the crime scene, because they saw that the refrigerator was open when she got shot. So she took the coke and was going to put it in the fridge. Weebay tapped on the glass. She walked up to the window. He shot her. The bullet went through the plastic inner door, stuck to the metal, smashed it against the wall, shut the door. Boom. Get your Bohemian diet drinking ass out of here. We goin' Sizzler. We goin' Sizzler. We goin' Sizzler.
What you stand for what's in this town? I'm my people, man. Our father, our uncles, our cousins. It's just what we do.
D'Angelo's unloading some of that weight he's got on his shoulders. Like I was talking about, he's not really built or cut out for this. He was just born into it. It's almost like a family business. It's the legacy. It's what they do. If this was Game of Thrones, that's what their house would be known for. They're the house of drugs. They're the gangster-ass house. And it's the environment they grow up in, and it's all they know, so then that's all they know what to do, and then that's what they pass on to their kids, because again, that's all they have to give. It's their whole life. And it's just this cycle. It's just revolutions. It just keeps going around. And D'Angelo's finally the one who's ready to break that. But he doesn't make a difference in a meaningful way. It's like pissing in the wind. He doesn't have the position of leverage that he needs. Trying to do all this from behind bars with really no backing socially. He's got the cops backing, but he's vulnerable in too many ways. He's not positioned properly to take a shot at the king, as Omar would say. Because if you take a shot at the king, you best not miss. See, D'Angelo's kind of, or not D'Angelo, Daniels is kind of expressing the feelings that I had as an audience member the first time I saw this. you're kind of used to cookie cutter shows that seal themselves up real tight and everything ends well for the good guys, etc. So this being the season finale, you're like, oh, D'Angelo's gonna flip and it's all gonna work out just fine. And Cedric kind of feels that right now, like, oh my god, we broke it open, we're gonna take down this whole organization because of D'Angelo, we did it. And we'll see what happens with that later on. Too much steak, not enough pork chops.
I have to admit it, Jimmy, this is great.
See, even there, look at everybody's excitement. It's really like setting you up to subvert your expectations. You think that this is all just gonna work out okay, regular show, normal stuff. The heroes win. The cops are the heroes. They haven't made them look the best in this season, but ultimately they're supposed to be the heroes, and they're gonna administer justice and clean up the streets. And they're gonna save the day, and all is gonna be well. They're gonna make a meaningful impact. They're all gonna be heroes. This is gonna be a substantial part of Baltimore lore. Like Jimmy wants, they're all gonna put him on his shoulders, carry him around the room, sing an old Gaelic folk song. That was a bad Irish accent, I apologize. I have to work on that. This guy's a knucklehead. You guys making out in the parking lot? You and my five? This reminds me of the scene in The Recruit when Colin Farrell is making out with that, I don't know what her name is, but she's hot as fuck. I don't want to say that she's plain or ordinary, but she's not like supermodel hot. She's just got that perfect girl next door cuteness about her. I have to do a commentary on that movie. I love that movie. And she was, when I was growing up, I thought she was so fucking hot. And I couldn't even explain it. It was like one of those ones, like, if I were to show my friends and be like, this girl's hot as fuck, they'd be like, yeah, she's pretty good. Like, it wasn't undeniable the way it is with Pam Anderson in her prime or something like that. But I'm telling you, for me, it was about as good as it got. And I don't even know her real name. That's a real injustice. I apologize. I should know her name. I mean, I know Eliza Dushku's name, and I know Shannon Elizabeth's name, and I know Kate Beckinsale's name, and a lot of the other real, 10 out of 10s.
What's the number? Drug lawyer, downtown office. Look, Dylan be the place to look.
Well, if we can do it, and I'm not saying we can. It's gonna be a fucking week, maybe two.
Everybody's so willing to tell you that they can't.
Hey, listen. Isn't this supposed to be the time you tell me how all fired fucking important this is?
Except for he's also leading them on. He just wants them to do a little bit of begging and create some urgency, and then he's going to go ahead and do it for them. Jimmy was told not to try to take this case federal, and he's still trying to do it. He never fucking learns. It's like he thinks that somehow the case and the ultimate result is going to save his ass from all the people whose orders he didn't follow. He thinks that he can just go outside the chain of command with impunity. And no repercussions. And not only is his ego out of control, but he doesn't have a realistic expectation of the world. And so Stringer's now left with the problem of trying to find more product. with Avon in jail. Their main stash got hit a couple episodes ago. Avon's arrested. Most of their crew's arrested. They got to fight this legal case, so they got to try to keep as low-key as possible. And they got to secure more products so that they can hold all their territory. They're not going to be able to sit on all that real estate and not sell anything. Somebody's going to move in.
It's not street ready. So we might not look a little cut. So let me get this.
And they're going to have to stomp the shit out of it.
Alright? One rule. Alright? That's how we gonna do until we get the new stash. I want you to put the word out there. We back 'em.
It's going to be cut like a motherfucker.
We back 'em.
Like, if you're not familiar, stepped on, cut, diluted. They're going to take the actual, I think it's heroin, and they're going to do 1/3 heroin, 2/3 vitamin B12 or whatever that generic powder was. But the crazy thing about junkies is they don't have the self-control to just not buy it if it's bunk. They need it. So if it's the only thing available, that's what they're going to buy, even if it isn't shit. It's this crazy... I think Stringer says it in the next season maybe, but he's like, the worse we do, the more money we make. Like, it doesn't make sense. I don't know if that would work in the extreme long term. Eventually they're going to start going to other places if the other places have better product. But, like, you sell them twice as much and they'll get half as high. Oh, see, somebody's moved in on their territory. That dude back there is huge. He makes Bodhi and Poot look like children. At least they're resolving this with bats. I mean, it's not what you would condone or advise them to do. You don't want people to be beating the shit out of each other in public with bats. But it's much better than shooting them. At least everybody gets to walk away from it. They live to see the error of their ways and fight another day if they deem it necessary. Instead of just walking up and shooting somebody and then it's over. For them forever.
That's why we can't win. Why not?
They fuck up, they get beat. We fuck up, we get promotions.
We fuck up, they give us pensions.
Oh, pensions. He's got a good point, because to the cops, it's a job with kind of a net of safety, so to speak, with the pensions. You know, they have a salary. It's a more comfortable situation. The hustlers and the dealers, they got to do this to survive.
Guess so.
And there's going to be nothing there to catch them if they fall. Like, it's sink or swim. They have to produce. They have to get this done. Their motivations are driven by something much deeper and more primal than the majority of the police officers.
Hell no. Talk to me about the good shit. Y'all one of my shooters and stuff.
Kima she's meant to be a cop. It's her calling. It's what she's built for. As soon as McNulty shows up, she wants to know the real shit. She wants to know what's up with the case. She wants to know what's going on. And her and McNulty relate on that level. It's both of them share it as a passion. So he starts talking to her about the case, and her girlfriend storms off, upset, as you would expect your significant other to do if you were in the hospital with gunshot wounds and yet itching to talk about more police work.
But she's right. It isn't worth it.
And her, I don't know if you call her wife, her lover, her partner, is trying to urge her to get off the street and take a desk job, which is just not Kima at all. She wears jeans, a track jacket, and a baseball cap to work. And she likes roughing up perps. Like, she likes getting in there down and dirty. She likes being in the smoke.
I felt,
In the center of the action. That's where she wants to be.
like this, it's always you or Sidner or some other black cop who ends up...
She's an adrenaline junkie in a way, but really calm and stoic at the same time.
Do it over. If
I could do it over, you know what I'd do?
Put more tape on that gun.
Put more tape on that fucking gun.
See, she's a real one.
I'm sorry, Kima. I'm sorry.
And this is more of Jimmy trying to make himself more important in the situation than he is by making his emotions an issue. And she's hard as fuck. He needs to relieve himself of that. She's okay with it. It's done. It's over. It's not your fault. And she's okay with it. Oh, no. See, and Bubbles is done falling off the wagon since she got shot. It was a small window in time where the opportunity was there for him to maybe get his shit together. And he missed it. So now he's just got a handful of cash. And he's back on the needle.
Enough for what I got going on now, man. You give the rest back to her. You sure?
Goddamn Bubbles.
Give her my love.
So now he's got her money and he's definitely not going to make good. Excuse me. God damn, Bubbles is a good character. So many of them are good characters.
5 guys got jumped. Not just you. 4 other guys jumped. I'm sorry, man. Gotta be all the brutality complaints, which means it ain't never gonna matter how well I do on no fucking test.
I still not buying that Herc did better on the test than Carver. I understand that they lowered him in rank because of all the brutality complaints, but he's not fucking smarter than Carver. How did he get better on the test than Carver did? And it's kind of funny now, because he's been walking around with his chest puffed out, acting like he's got all this authority, and now he doesn't have it anymore. And the guy he's been talking down to, Carver, does. So Carver could do this kind of gotcha bitch act. He could treat him the same way. Turnabout is fair play. Or he could lead by example and show Herc how much better he should have been treating Carver when he was above him. And Freeman's done closed the deal with her.
I don't think I'm giving anything away. I'm telling that Arnold here has had a file with Senator Davis for 2.5 years. Took us a while to see. But the quid pro quo was right there in that West Side redevelopment.
So in the attempt to take this case federal, all they were really interested in was political intrigue.
Years in advance of where the development zone's going to be.
So they're trying to give him the senator, who they know is taking money,
And now the city's going to pay millions.
and they can show correlation
It's a lot to work with.
between property purchases by Avon and upcoming redevelopment projects. So they can show, they're basically, the implication is that Avon and Stringer kick money to these politicians, and then they get first word on where the new redevelopment's going to be, so that they can buy properties that are run down and then sell them a few years later, or redevelop them themselves and make a ton of money.
Whoa. You're talking about turning Barksdale and Bell into cooperators and making the politicians the primary target? Of course.
Oh my god.
Fuck the politicians. It's Barksdale and Bell. Those guys have turned West Baltimore into a free fire zone.
So because the feds have different, they have a different agenda than Baltimore PD. So their intention is to use Stringer and Avon as informants and make the politicians the actual targets. And they're like, Jimmy's like, what the fuck? The whole goal of what we're doing here is to get these two guys off the streets. And you're going to make them cooperators? Get fucked. And now they all collectively realize this is a lost cause. And they're just going to dip out.
I think we're going with a different direction than this. Thank you for the time.
West Baltimore is dying, and you empty suits are running around trying to pin something.
Shit. Oh, you getting a visit from Mama. She can bring you crab cakes, spicy ones. Sterling's about to feast.
Got you all the way out here.
Hey, Mama.
Started up thinking you was in Jersey. In Jersey? I figured they still got you down in central booking. All the way out here.
So they moved him to the county jail, I guess, for safety. I guess that's smart.
The message needs sending. How y'all even find me?
He's trying to cut himself off from them. And their course, that makes them nervous. They need him to go along and play ball. He could make the whole thing come tumbling down if he doesn't act right. At least act according to what they want him to. In my opinion, he is acting right now, but like I said before, he's not really positioned properly
What about me for once?
to make this decision.
What's right?
He's too at risk. He's too vulnerable.
You like him to step up? Take all the weight and let you walk? Because he will.
The fuck he will.
And if he gotta go away, that means you got to step up and fill his shoes. You ready for that?
No, I ain't. I ain't ready. And I ain't never gonna be ready for this game.
Dude, come on.
Look,
So I guess the implication is that at some point down the road, D'Angelo's supposed to take over for Avon.
And what you giving them?
There's just no way that he would ever be capable. He's not cold enough. He's not ruthless.
You messed up.
He would just never make it to that point, or he would fuck it up once he got there.
Now, if you want to get even with him, you can.
It's almost laughable to think of D'Angelo running an entire organization like that and ordering the hits and the muscle and dealing with the collateral damage, and he wouldn't be able to carry that.
This right here is part of the game, D. And without the game, his whole family would be down in the fucking terrace living off scraps. Shit, we probably wouldn't even be a family.
So she's calling on these family ties, trying to make him feel like he's fucking up the family legacy and the whole family's gonna go down if he turns on them. But she's also in a way glorifying what they do. Like, she doesn't know that they should do, like, it has inherent risks and it's fucked up.
there won't even be a trial.
And even if you're successful, look at the life Avon leads. He's constantly worried somebody's following him or out to get him. He doesn't let anybody have a phone line in his house. How does he even enjoy it? And he's the highest peak you could hope to reach in the drug game. And it doesn't seem like he really enjoys himself that much. And now he's about to go to jail.
Been weeks now.
Oh, Daniel's figured out that Carver is the mole.
Almost before I did. Except last week, we run the buck up in the Box Steals Club office. And Burrell, for once, is a step behind.
When they put the camera in Orlando's, Carver was out for in-service training. And that's the one thing Burrell didn't get hip to.
Underground office,
Oh, left yourself exposed on that one.
It wasn't my idea. I mean, I'm minding my business, doing my fucking job. A man calls me upstairs for coffee at a Danish, right? I mean, I never even been on the 8th floor of that fucking building. And there's the deputy fucking ops telling me how concerned he is about the case.
Carver's a good character too because he starts off very
I mean, he's the
surface level, douchebaggy, not very thoughtful, and he's just kind of going with the flow, doing what he sees everybody else doing and what he's always done. And as the show progresses, he becomes more insightful, more thoughtful, and more objective about his own behavior, and he actually turns into a very good cop and leader. He's got one of the best arcs on the show. There's a lot of good arcs on the show, honestly.
You show loyalty, they learn loyalty. You show them it's about the work, it'll be about the work.
But you show them some other game, that's the game they're gonna play. Exactly. And that's where they've gotten to this point. They've made it about some other kind of game. It's about statistics that you can print in a newspaper and use to get politicians elected. It's not about good police work.
Pretty soon we have piece of shit patrolmen trying to figure the job for themselves. And some what happens then? It's hard as hell to live down.
And he's speaking from experience. That's where these assets he got investigated for, this file Perel has on him, it's because he came up in a unit where people were stealing. And that's what he was shown, and that's what he was taught, and that's the game he thought that they were supposed to play. And he didn't realize until he was already exposed on the issue. He reeled it back in, but that's always laying out there. He's waiting for the other shoe to drop. Oh shit. Presbalewski got his gun back. Over the course of this season, he's actually developed a head on his shoulders.
There's a lot to do here.
He's not just bouncing off the walls.
I've been careful with that though. I understand the trigger point used to be light.
And he's gained the respect of everybody else in the detail. To the point where Daniels is kind of joking around with him there, fucking with him about the trigger pull on his gun. Like, they trust him fully now. Are they about to get Weebay? I wonder if that was an accident. I think he was supposed to break that on the first shot, probably. He looks super disappointed that it didn't work. This is Weebay. Oh, bay. Broke the window on his car. He's getting arrested in only shoes and underwear. That would fucking suck. Are they gonna bring any clothes for him to put on? Or he's just gonna be stuck with the prison blues? Who are you eating lunch with?
Giving the guards a hard time about moving D'Angelo from original jurisdiction. Put the call through. Okay. Officer May,
Look at that cell phone, that Nokia brick.
on with the lawyer?
The battery on that thing lasted a year.
Okay.
One charge. You could use it for a year. You could hit that thing with a tennis racket into a brick wall. Nothing would happen. It's actually an impressive corner office. Ceiling to floor windows. And wall to wall.
I heard from Bunk.
He needs a more impressive desk, though.
Y'all did great work.
What is that low budget, low rent shit? Get some big kind of wood ordeal. Get some fancy shit.
On the other hand, I know that Deputy Ops got a call from the first Deputy U.S. Attorney this morning asking whether an asshole such as yourself really works for us.
Jimmy's mouth got him in trouble again.
You're a good detective. I gotta admit you got some stones on you.
Him smarting off to the feds led to them calling to bitch about him and indirectly informed
So tell me,
his superiors
where don't you want to go?
that he was going behind their back. Outed himself without even realizing he was doing it. And that question Landsman told him he would get asked, where he doesn't want to go. But Rawls already knows the answer because Landsman told him. Because Landsman follows the chain of command to a T, which is why he's been promoted into the positions he's been promoted into. So Jimmy tells him some bullshit. I don't remember what he tells him, but he ends up getting put on the boat anyway, which is where he told Landsman he didn't want to go earlier in the season. And that's part of why next season is weird, because Jimmy is on the boat, but you can tell that seems like it was going to be a plan the whole time. They've been hinting at that all season, that Jimmy was going to end up fucked and in the boat. He's kind of like the new Freeman.
I'm fairly confident that two of them will be no profit to at least half a dozen of your open murders.
Naming co-conspirators? For that kind of cooperation, I'd be willing to consider straight life.
No, indeed. I don't believe
So now they're negotiating for Weebay. Basically, he wants the death penalty off the table. So he's willing to confess to as many murders, well, not as many, but he's willing to confess to a shitload of murders if it will get the death penalty off the table and he can get straight life. But he's going to be in jail, so it's not going to be the straightest life, if you know what I'm saying.
Otherwise, it's my understanding that nothing in all those hours contained.
That is correctamundo, senor. Senor asshole.
Years ain't enough for Morty. Not for Avon Barksdale.
No?
3 or 4 years. All this work. And they just proposed 3 or 4 years for Avon.
State versus Avon Randolph Barksdale, Your Honor. 1 count of possession with intent to distribute, 2 killing.
Is that as nice as Avon could dress up?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Barksdale is offering a plea of guilty in exchange for
He looks like his mom made him wear that shirt because it's school picture day.
following agreed upon facts. On or about the date of September 17, 2000.
Look at him. They can't even show him. They're barely showing it. There he is.
Trooper Robert
That's not your shirt, bro.
Barracks effected a traffic
Your attorney brought that for you to wear.
Forest traveled southbound near exit 13. That traffic stop resulted from information gleaned from electronic surveillance of Mr. Barksdale and
Look at that big ornate setup that judge has. That's a desk.
detail under the command of a city
It's more like a throne. Throne with a desk. Now we're talking.
by airport revealed that a kilogram of nearly pure heroin was concealed beneath the spare tire in the car trunk.
It was heroin. You gonna draw another picture, Stringer?
Those drugs with the intent to dilute, package, and sell retail amounts of heroin.
DJ Crescent, Golden Legged, Sharif Boyd, all tied to the same guy. Plus, we got the stick up boys, Brandon Wright, John Bailey, the Orlando that makes 6.
I appreciate how gangster Weebay is.
I knew better, give him more.
He's just calm as can be. Eating his sandwich and fries, drinking his Coke, telling him about people he's murdered.
For all these bodies, you gotta wake up, talk
He's about to go to jail for the rest of his life.
But as to murder, has anything you leave
She brings up implicating other people and he just goes, nah.
One other beer sandwich and some potato salad. I'll go if you want. You want that medium rare out of horseradish?
And I kind of dig that they give into his demands because
I do, little man.
it's over for him.
When that cop gets shot. Yeah? Where's the body?
He's about to be put away forever. Throw away the key. Give him his fucking sandwich and coleslaw and let us solve these murders. It's a lot of red to black.
How about the witnesses? The security lady. And what's his name? The maintenance man.
He's trying to take credit for the murder that they're arresting Bird. They already arrested Bird for.
Information gleaned from electronic surveillance.
Weebay's an excellent character. He's one of the most gangster motherfuckers on the show. Ronnie Moe looks weird dressed like that too. That dude's huge. That guy's stoned in class. That guy's Kevin Durant.
Mr. Watkins, who was on probation for a drug distribution charge that was adjudicated in Judge Priebus's court in August 2001.
Nice outfit, buddy. Is it picture day? Oh, you got promoted to major. I know because it says it right there on your hat. Like you work at Chuck E. Cheese.
Hey, you ever feel like a change? Give a yell. He's a good shift, Lieutenant. I mean, right now, the whole fucking district's a mess. What is...
See, they don't come right out and tell it, but the decisions that Cedric made to fight against the bosses on this last detail led to him not getting that promotion. He was supposed to be on the short list for major, and he got over... Why is there a cannabis poster on Herc's desk?
Police work down in the districts. All that fuck somebody up and rip and run bullshit. It won't play down here. You think I'm kidding?
Daniel sees the maturity,
This.
even though Herc's kind of bullshitting. He's just saying words he heard. He doesn't know what it means or follow it. Now that is a beautiful building. Kind of gaudy, but looks old.
Nicely done.
As old as something in the States can be. Stringer tells Jimmy nicely done, like they're fucking playing a basketball game and Jimmy beat him. And now Bodie's running the show down at the pit. And he is cut out for it. You can see the differences between him and D'Angelo. He runs the business appropriately. He would be better suited to be the heir to take over when Avon's out of the game eventually. But he's not family. That's the thing. They try to keep it within the family. No incestual. See? Freeman and McNulty swap places. Freeman gets to come and be a murder police now, and Jimmy's going to get sent to the boat.
And it works. You do not play the game for yourself, you play it for us.
This is the exact speech that Rawls gave to Jimmy. Do you know your job description, detective?
That's what they say about me. They say that, they do.
Fucking Landsman. It's a new couch. The couch isn't orange anymore, it's black. Oh shit. I never realized that before. They got a new couch. New legs. Look at that, new legs.
Yo, Dick! The fuck was that?
Didn't you set this whole thing up?
Niggas money. Didn't you, sir?
How are you acting like you just walked into the middle of this organization here? Sitting there eating your chicken.
I'm saying, you take their money, then you sit around, let some other niggas serve.
I gave you my all, so baby be mine. I also love the music, because this was right in my wheelhouse era-wise. So when I was in middle school and high school.
Tighten up around here, yo.
No, high school. I'm not always there when you call, but I'm always on time.
Hell of a case. Real on bottom papers.
Jimmy looks like he took all the sleeping pills. Oh my god. Can you carry my bags? Why, did you pack a lot? No, I took 2 Ambien and I can't lift my arms.
He was arrested by authorities in New Jersey in possession of a kilo of Maryland and 10
Oh.
Baltimore. He acknowledges his role as leading conspirator and is already
And D'Angelo
counts of distribution dates
ended up standing up
1999.
and taking the weight for the family.
As Mr. Barksdale has
Going back to Levy.
and is insisting that the effort to purchase and transport the kilo was undertaken on his own behest.
Wow.
Refusing to cooperate against others in the conspiracy. The state is offering only the maximum allowed.
Even confessing
Mr. Levy,
to purchasing it all upon his own. Like, oh my God. He got railroaded on this, thrown under the bus. I wouldn't say railroaded because he was guilty, but he definitely got thrown under the bus. Like, he is the scapegoat. He's coming out the worst of everyone involved.
The 2 project murders that messed up done, both the stick-up boys. And Little Man. Yeah, body found up behind Reptile House in Druid Hill.
They didn't even know Lil Man was dead yet, I don't think.
He also takes William Gann. I know, it's bullshit. But how'd he tell him? Boom. He said a contact wound? Yeah, it doesn't play. Gann had no compression, no stippling. Wound was to the front. But he's talking out of his ass. I know, but this motherfucker's just taking murders just to take him.
How do you combat that? If somebody's trying to confess to a murder you know they didn't commit, you now have to take them to court to prove them wrong? That's kind of a weird one. Are you just allowed to walk around confessing to shit that's obvious you didn't do? Like, if there's somebody in jail for a murder, are you allowed to walk around confessing to have committed that murder? Oh, Jimmy. All that work just so that Avon could get a few years and smile at you in the courtroom and buy you a wardrobe. He's tired of arguing. He's not going to get pigeonholed into some poppy sensation. They got me playing at rock and roll stations. We get this kind of closure montage scene at the end of every season of The Wire. I fucking love them. See, these 2 are just up to their same old tricks. Our first introduction to Bubbles, he was with Johnny running some game. Santangelo has been demoted to walking the beat in a uni now. Carver is getting promoted because he was the snitch for Burrell. And Presbalewski kind of came into his own and found his stride with this case. And he is sad to see it end. You get the impression that Presbalewski doesn't know where he's going to fit in the world after this detail ends. There's not just something he can easily plug himself into where these newfound skills apply and this newfound passion applies. Here Jimmy is now. He's on the boat working the shit job like Freeman used to have to do, and now Freeman is Bunk's new partner. The pieces move around, but there's always another one that gets shifted into their role. A lot of them, it's just goes around, the wheel goes around. Jimmy's main contention was that the diesel fumes made him sick. I imagine he'd get over that fairly quickly, doing it every day. Now Stringer's running the show again, just from a different place. Selling shit, counting money. Now he's gonna grill us. All the corners are still running. All the junkies still want their fix. Oh, are we gonna get an Omar sighting here? Or not? We haven't seen Omar for a minute. Yup. Ah, yes. I didn't remember for sure, but I hoped.
Man, you fucking won.
About be a 400. Damn.
All in the game, yo. All in the game.
Omar's one of my favorite characters from any TV show ever. Right up there with Tony Soprano and Ari Gold. Just good shit. That's the conclusion of the season. So it doesn't do it in too clean a manner. They get their guy, but it's not. It's bittersweet. He doesn't get put away for that much time. It all gets piled on D'Angelo. They don't get Stringer. The detail gets broken up without really having made the impact that they were hoping to make. Jimmy gets shipped off to the boat. Freeman gets a breath of fresh air. He gets a new life. He did well by himself in that detail to be able to get a homicide job back. Kima's wandering around a hospital, having been shot, completely out of the mix. Carver gets promoted for being a snitch. And we move forward, onward and upward. We'll be starting season 2 fairly soon. I appreciate you guys listening to the commentary. You can find me on YouTube, SoundCloud, whatever podcast downloader you listen to, Facebook, Instagram. Just search for Avarice Podcast. Until the next time, this is Devin signing off and saying, be easy.